Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Just Open It, the YouTube series in which I open recently acquired toys. My name is Russ. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. If you're a fan of toys, action figures, or pop culture in general, please subscribe to my channel, Karaoke Fanboy TV. Every week I will be opening a recently acquired toy, action figure, or pop culture collectible. And throughout the month of February 2023, I will be opening Masters of the Universe Origins action figures because, frankly, I've acquired so many of these toys since they were released in 2020. It's about time I start opening them en masse. Otherwise, these boxes are going to fall on me and I'm going to die in an avalanche of Eternian plastic. So here we go with King Hsss, one of the latest figures to come out from Masters of the Universe Origins. And a few details right off the bat. First of all, you can see that I have my original King Hsss here to compare. And I'm not going to front, I'm not going to lie, this figure is very broken. The elastic band that held his legs in place, it's disintegrated completely. So the legs are wedged into the pelvis piece here. I'm going to set him down gingerly on my couch and just hope that those legs don't pop out. Once I open this figure, I'll do a side-by-side comparison. I'll see how comfortable I feel removing King Hss's disguise on my OG figure, but I will of course be experiencing his transformation here with the new figure. And I see now that this is a green staff, and I just popped that maroon staff in his hand. That might have come with the original Rattler, and maybe my Rattler on the shelf over there has King Hsss's staff. But anyway, couple of things about this packaging. The new, for whatever year the figure is being released in, blurb that was in the corner of all Masters of the Universe Origins figures since 2020 is gone here. So this would say new for 23, I presume, and it's not here. So that's an interesting observation I made before I pressed record. Interesting to me, anyway. Also, if you could see here in the light, I love that the bubble there, that's great, has this scaling on it to hearken the arrival of the Snake Men. And it's been interesting in the Masters of the Universe Origins line. They've kind of been building to this Snake Men inclusion here. It's not just another wave. It's almost like a plot point in these figures' release, which is very cool because, frankly, there is no corresponding cartoon to promote these figures. The original Masters of the Universe that I loved when I was a kid, had the Filmation cartoon as a virtual daily commercial for these toys. These toys are just on the pegs, dependent upon the brand itself, with no supplemental media. And frankly, I hear that this brand is in trouble. I hear Masters of the Universe Origins is doomed, that this spring, 2023, may be the end of the line. And I really think that that goes hand in hand with the fact that, they've oversaturated the market when it comes to He-Man. I've reviewed in multiple videos now. There are several versions of Masters of the Universe on the pegs, from the Origins line to Masterverse to Netflix's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's just a lot for a young collector. This is promoted at 6+ here. So it's just a lot for a young kid that maybe isn't familiar with the original incarnation of these figures I loved when I was a kid. It just to digest, like, who am I buying here exactly? Masterverse looks cool and articulated, hyper-detailed, and that would maybe be for an adult collector. The He-Man and the Masters of the Universe CGI toys are obviously for kids. This falls in some bizarre in-between where it's perpetuating the nostalgia of He-Man in general. And this would be, for me, the guy that loved this as a kid. Are there enough of me to keep this brand alive? And I'm hearing in fellow toy reviewers' videos that answer might be no. And it's a bummer. And I wonder if that's why the year isn't on here anymore, because they just don't know how long this stuff's going to be on the pegs. Here in Phoenix, Jitsu has been on the pegs for like over a year. And I think he's new for 22. We're in 2023 now. You see that on the pegs. It's not interesting anymore. If you're a young kid that doesn't, that just doesn't know that that's who that character is from Adam, Prince Adam, why would you want a Jitsu, let alone like 10 that are clogging the pegs here? So with that established, 5 minutes into the video, let's just open this guy because I'm super excited about King Hsss and the arrival of the Snake Men. When you think of He-Man, you naturally automatically think of Skeletor. And the fact of the matter is, He-Man had quite a few arch nemeses. Skeletor, of course, but then there was this faction of Snake Men that debuted in the middle of the Masters of the Universe line when I was a kid. And then, of course, the Evil Horde as well, which were a part of She-Ra's story, but the toys came out in the under the Masters of the Universe banner. So, 3 distinct leaders of henchmen, Skeletor, Hiss, and Hordak, that He-Man had to contend with. And I always thought that was very cool. So again, just the packaging is unique. Beautiful art on the back here. And I always like to credit the artist. I think this is Axel Jimenez's work. I hope I'm saying his name right. And I hope he's the guy that designed this, because it's so cool. And then the instructions here as to how to transform King Hsss from this civilian disguise, which in the original line of Masters of the Universe was kind of meant to, like, just get him out of this bubble here. Okay. You know how I feel about that if you watch this channel often. But yeah, the idea is, like, King Hsss looks like a normal dude, and he could, like, wander into the kingdom of Eternia undercover, and then all of a sudden he reveals his snaky self, his scaly self. So here he is. Head articulation, which is something the original King Hsss never had, and you're about to find out why. But this, yeah, your standard Masters of the Universe Origins figure here, just super cool. Holds his staff quite effectively here. I always thought it was interesting that the way the staff was designed, the snake doesn't point outward. You have to kind of get it like that, and I guess you can make it happen, but it seems awkward to me. Now that I'm looking at it in the camera, though, it looks pretty cool. So, there he is. Now, let me show you the original King Hsss toy. There is no head articulation here, because what you're seeing is actually a disguise. Now, forgive me if his legs just pop off. That's not part of this transformation. That's just a part of the age of this figure. But look, the arms are removed, and then this chest piece. I don't know if my fellow He-Man fans are watching this like, oh God, don't break it. Because those pegs are really in there. Oh man. Oh, there goes the leg. I'm just going to take the other one out. And see if, you know what? He's like really stuck in there. And I don't know if I want to risk it. Yeah, those pegs are like, wait. One more. Don't break. This is interesting, isn't it? This is fun YouTube viewing. Wow, it's like really stuck in there. I must have is this just the result of time and dust settling and display? Oh, it didn't break. It did not break. And there you see, this is what is the result of that struggle, is King Hsss stands revealed as a true serpent monster. And this is the leader of the Snake Men. Now, it was so funny to me as a kid to remove this bulky armor and reveal this kind of slender snake body. Like, this is the leader. This is the king. This is He-Man's absolute arch nemesis when it comes to the Snake Men. So I always thought it was kind of funny that he seemed more imposing as the civilian. So let's see if the modern King Hsss evokes the same dread. Now, again, this isn't an armor that could be removed traditionally. In modern action figure collecting, you have these removable arms, and then it looks like the armor is kind of this old school latch in there. Oh no, yeah, this is a very malleable rubber here. So, okay. Oh, I gotta remove his head. And here's what we have underneath. A very monochromatic plastic here compared to the, I don't know, I feel like this goldenrod versus like this deeper just pure golden yellow. The color scheme on this King Hsss is way more menacing than the new, like, what is this, sunflower yellow here or something. But popping these guys in, the arms and the head. Now I gotta say, obviously, this makes King Hsss a way more imposing presence than the original. And the points of articulation are killer too, because you have these snake head hands that move, and he's just he's just a beefier presence here than this King Hsss. Look at that. The legs are practically the same size and proportion, but the torso is just a significant difference. And I dig it. I like it a lot. I'm curious to see if he'll stand. And I'm sure he could with some messing around here. These figures have been great with that kind of display ability. I didn't show off this cool shield that he comes with as well. Old school shield there. I think what was common in this shield in the original line was like this handle would come loose, and you'd either have just the handle or just this plate, and collectors would struggle to have these two pieces intact, I believe. And in this case, there's a very definitive nail there holding this. This is almost saying, hey, we remember, and that's not going to happen again. So check that out. But yeah, this is cool. I'm impressed. I like this a lot. And what's interesting here is I could see in the ring light kind of the hollow body. So the torso has a lot of mass, but it's actually really light. And I think that will help with the posability here. You know, I'm on a TV tray, so not the most stable ground for King Hsss to stand on. But wow, he is ready to take over Eternia. Look at that posability. That's great. Great job, Mattel. Great job, toy designers, on this. I dig it a lot. And I'm excited that I have yet to read this mini comic that I presume will harken the arrival of the Snake Man. And here's this instruction sheet that kind of reveals his removable parts. So what's interesting is, you know, all of these Origins figures are apparently customizable. You could swap their arms and heads and some other things. So, like, the idea of King Hsss adopting a disguise and sneaking into the Kingdom of Eternia has much more potential when you could pop a King Hsss head on any of your other Masters of the Universe Origins bodies, right? If you're playing with these toys. So there's some storytelling potential there. Very cool. Big fan of this. Definitely honors the deluxe aspect of this line, and is a great way to usher in the Snake Men. Man, I hope that Masters of the Universe Origins continue so we can get, well, Rattler is advertised back here, Cobra Khan. Tongue Lasher is awesome. Squeeze, Snake Face, man, these are some great characters, great toy designs from the 80s. I'd love to see them modernized with some cool contemporary points of articulation. Please, Masters of the Universe Origins fans, if you've heard similar rumors about the doom of this line, the end of this line, is there something we could do to solicit Mattel that we're still interested? And interested at retail, by the way. I don't dig the Matty Collector model where once a month I got to jump online and race my fellow fans to buy a limited number of these figures. You know, there has to be a way to balance that exclusivity with this abundance of certain figures I'm finding on the pegs. There has to be a way to determine who the fan base for this is, how many of us there are, in circulating just a little over that to justify the cost of the line, and to make it accessible to kids that are still being introduced to Masters of the Universe and digging this version over the other two, at least, that are available. This Origins over Masterverse and the Netflix show. I don't know. I'm not in the toy business. I've only always been a fan, so I don't know how any of that works. But there has to be a science to this to make it last a little bit longer, because, man, I just feel like there's so much potential with this figure. I'd love to see what else is to come. So with that, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram at AmazingAZComics, where I post more about the toys and comics that I love, and the comics and zines that I make Tune in next time when I grab another Masters of the Universe Origins action figure off the pile of them here in my living room, and I say, you know what? Just open it. I'll catch you next time.